Hello and welcome to my channel if you're watching this, or to my podcast, AMEZE Live. I thought long and hard about what I'm about to do right now, because I think it's just gotten kind of old. People not talking about it. Well, maybe people are talking about it. Please get me right. People are talking about it, but I don't think there's enough done, as in we need more voices coming on board. Now, if you check my Instagram and I think my Twitter at AMEZE Superstar, there is a video that I was a part of, an initiative, and it's Nigerian entertainers against rape. People don't want to talk about rape because it makes them uncomfortable. Well, that's the whole idea. It's not supposed to make you comfortable. So I really thought hard about this, and I want to add my voice. And that's why I joined that movement. And a group of us came together and we're all standing and lending a voice as entertainers, not only in Nigeria, but even outside Nigeria, letting people know that rape is not okay. No means no. Now, for people who rape, for men who rape women, it's really shameful because you're not a man. If you are a man, you wouldn't need to rape a person to make yourself feel like a man, because it doesn't. It only shows your weakness. If you have to overpower someone to get them to allow you have your way, because essentially that's what it comes down to. You know, the person stops struggling and just lets you have your way out of, you might think it's fair, but it's actually PT for you because you're a weakling. You're not a man, you're not a real man. Now, there are those school of thoughts, and I know this is true, that rape is not so much really about the act itself, it's not about the sexual intercourse, if you can call it that. It's about power. So that lends value and credit to what I said. You're not a man, you don't have power, because real men have power. Power and a restraint to be able to do what they need to do when they're allowed to do it. Now, if you've listened to my podcast before, I have had a friend of mine come on my podcast. Again, she doesn't mind talking about her situation. She doesn't mind talking about the experience that happened to her. And she also came on my YouTube channel, AMEZE TV, and also talked about her rape. And I'm talking about Evelyn Obaho. She has given me permission to talk about it. And she will be coming back on to my channel, AMEZE TV, on YouTube. Please go ahead and check that out. I have different people come on, and there's just so many things going on AMEZE TV. And then I have a podcast called AMEZE Live. And of course, you have my YouTube, not my YouTube, you have my Instagram and my Twitter at AMEZE Superstar. I also have a Facebook. Please go ahead and like it. It's AMEZE. But, you know, this is something that, especially in Nigeria, it's really a shame, because the people, the perps, who actually met out, is that the right word? Well, the people, these weaklings who actually commit this heinous, I don't even know what to say, this act, this weak act, they're people in power. So even being in a physical position of power really doesn't empower them. It's hogwash. It really doesn't do anything for them. It's like putting on a dress, I'm not even going to give it any kind of weight by even saying an armor, because they don't have that. So the position they have is actually not doing anything for them, because they're still weaklings. These are men and I dare say women. However, it's not about women raping men right now, because I'm not saying that doesn't exist, because some would argue that. We're talking about hapless, helpless girls, women who are raped every day at their place of work, in relationships, by friends, people who they trust. It's so sad. It's so sad. It is so sad. So my coming on today and talking about this is to challenge women, wherever you are, all walks of life, whether you're there in Africa, Nigeria, in the US here, in the UK, in Canada, in Australia, in all parts of the world that are being raped every day. Now, let me tell you what this means to me. I remember a very long time ago, and I haven't really shared this with anyone. And that's why I'm thinking that I'm not going to remain silent, because I think the more we all remain silent, then we're letting this just go on, because there are younger women coming behind us. I have a daughter. I want her to be strong. I want her to have a voice. And that is why I am coming out to say, I have also been a victim. I challenge you, whoever you are, those women there, those that are listening to me, because this is going to go viral. Yeah, oh God, AMEZE says she's been a victim of rape. Yes, it was rape, but it was a different type of rape. I wasn't sexually penetrated, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't intimidated, or I didn't have my space invaded, or I didn't have fear. The kind of fear that you can taste, the kind of fear that you think your life is going to end, the kind of fear that freezes you. I mean, you are at the mercy of someone who's playing God. This happened a very long time ago, and only one friend I shared it with when it happened then. And I haven't asked her, so I'm not going to call her name. But she's a medical doctor now in Nigeria. And I know if I'm actually going to send her this copy and ask her if she wants to be a part of this. But there's so many women out there like me, successful. You know, no one is going to think that, well, you know, is it possible that these women have gone through this? I did. This was a long time ago. It was at the University of Benin. It was my final year. And I was being intimidated and being harassed and sexually assaulted by a man that I thought, by all indications, people would love to work under him, because they thought, like I did, stupidly. But then it probably wasn't stupid on my part, because we didn't know that's how he is or was. A man that everyone called or looked at him like a father figure. And therein lies really the sadness of this, because it's those that you think are your father figures, those that you think you can run to for help, are the ones that are the perps. They're the perverts. They're the ones who take advantage of young girls. And this happened to me. I am saying it. This happened to me many, many years ago. And I found some time ago that this person passed. And let me tell you how I felt. I felt robbed, because when I found out, I was already a woman had come into my own. I had my own job at my company, and I could hold my own. And I wanted my time of day to be able to look this person in the eye and say, look at me now. You said I won't graduate. You said I won't make it. You said you would end me. You tore my clothes on me. He died. I'm told he died. He passed out. He had stroke. I'm trying not to call the name, but I think people who know this story, who know who, if you research, who was my, in my final year, the person that I worked under, it won't be far-fetched. I'm probably going to get calls and emails, and please feel free, because I'm tired. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of not sharing it because really, I want to be strong for those coming up under me. Now, he was the closest who had gotten, he was the one who's gotten close to actually doing the dastardly act. You know, he would, he would chase me around his office. I've never shared this with anyone before. He would chase me around his office. He would grab my clothes and he would, God, if I'm not a big person, I'm big as in physically, you know, so you can imagine how small I was. I left Uniburn in '88. That was a long time ago. So you can imagine, you can work it, how old I was then. Very young, very, very scared. I became even skinnier. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I mean, this was, and I had to report to his office every day, every evening. And this person, this old, dirty man would put his hands on me and try to force me, and I would beg and I would cry. And this friend, when I told her she had to get an uncle of hers to go with me to his office and plead with him, all the perpetrators, well, not the participants of this story, you know yourselves. However, the perp died. He died. So I felt like when I found out many years ago that he died, again, I felt robbed. I felt like, oh, I wish. I mean, I didn't feel bad when I found out the way he died, that he had a stroke and people were mean to him. I'm like, that's what happens when you intimidate, you harass, and you, again, I don't know if he's done it before. It's possible he has done it, because you wouldn't think, he's not the first person you think is going to do such a thing. People thought he was, oh my God, a father figure. I thought he was a father figure. Oh God. I went to the University of Benin. Go ahead, do your research. And I graduated in 1988. For those of you who have been following me, you would know what department I was in and what faculty I was in. So it's pretty much, you know, I felt like those girls that, what's his name? Is it Jeffrey Epstein? Had abused, raped, and how they were denied their justice. You know how he died in prison, maybe he was killed, good riddance to bad rubbish. However, I felt that way too when I found out he died, because I was like, oh God, I would love to see him now. Maybe slap him or something, you know, because I heard before he died, he suffered. And I was like, good. That was many years ago. Why am I speaking out? I would tell you why. It's the same thing that I had called out women here when the Me Too movement started, when Harvey Weinstein, that idiot, and they're always hideous looking weaklings. You know, when that thing happened and women came out from all corners of the world, and there were famous people, there were celebrities, there were women, powerful women who could lend their voice, and they didn't. And I called them out. I had a blog then. It was called Opinionated. I don't run that blog now, but I probably might bring it up again. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. But I remember calling out, what was her name now? I'm trying to remember. Oh dear. She was his friend, and the name just disappeared. You know how that happens sometimes? You're trying to remember something and the name just goes away. But anyway, is the lady that made the wrap dress. And she's like, well, I know him. He wouldn't do a thing like that. And I'm like, guess what? I'm sure she has been abused. Because I can tell you right now, a lot of successful women, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're a medical doctor. I don't care if you're an actress. I don't care if you're a school teacher. As long as you're trying to strive in the world and you're trying to make a better life for yourself, one way or the other, you have been abused. And it's usually by someone you've taken into your trust. An older person. Maybe it's your father's friend. Don't even get me started on father's friend. The sad thing is, these men have daughters. They have daughters that are probably even older than you. And yet, this weaklings, this impotent fools will go after young girls and abuse them. And I hear now that just not too long ago, 2 girls, probably more than that, but this that made news in Nigeria were those 2 girls that were killed. You know, it's rape is not okay. No means no. And I'm kind of glad that I was asked to be a part of this movement called Nigerian Entertainment Against Rape. And I think it just kind of made me feel, it's something I have been talking about. If you have been following me, you know I have been talking, you just have to listen. I have talked about sexual abuse and rape, not necessarily about me, but just saying it's not okay. But now I'm coming out and I challenge other women, please, let's talk, let's speak. I'm speaking. Let's put them to shame. Some of you know your perps, you know your perpetrators. And because we grew up in that culture, this culture of don't ask, don't tell, don't, you know, let sleeping dogs lie. Do not ruffle people's feathers. The reason, and I hate it when people say, well, you know, it's been how many years? Why are you talking about, you know? You know what, I'm giving you this. I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Okay, for those of you listening, I just flipped them off. When you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you're scared. When a man in their 50s, even 30s, come upon you and your life is in their hands, there's nowhere to go. You can't fight. That fear is very palpable. It holds you. There's nowhere to go. You can't go anywhere. It's really scary. So just shut your mouth before you start to ask stupid questions. Because I tell you this, those men who ask those questions, they're perpetrators. They have one way or the other, have violated some hapless women somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm saying it. I challenge you. Because people ask stupid questions. Another thing people do, an older woman will come out and say, oh, this happened to me when I was young. And they're looking at her like, who would go near her? Well, you idiot. She was once young and helpless. They're not going after her as a woman in her 70s now or in her 80s. People need to start respecting women. And that also goes for women. Women, love yourselves. Stop this self-hate. I cannot wait for people who are going to give some comments now that don't make sense. I'm actually waiting for women who will speak about this video I'm doing now and say they don't believe me. I don't give 2 cents. I don't give a rat's ass whether you believe or not, because I know you're a victim, and the only way you can bear your pain because you don't want to visit your past. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying be bold enough. If you can't be bold enough to support me and support all the women coming out, shut the fuck up. Yes, I am pissed. And enough is enough. We've got to speak up as women and stand by each other. We cannot have dissenting voices amongst us and between ourselves. I have talked to women who are like, no, maybe it's the way you dress. No, idiot, it has nothing to do with the way you dress. I'm not even going to apologize for my choice of words because I think it's, I think I'm just, well, I have said it, I'm angry, okay? I'm angry, but I'm also, I'm disappointed at women who bury their heads in the sand and think that it doesn't happen. It does happen, and it has nothing to do with your dressing. No means no. No means no. No means no. I'm challenging any woman. If you know it's happened to you before, get in touch with me. I'm as a superstar at gmail.com. If you don't want to put your comments with, where everyone can see it, I'm so past that now. When Evelyn Obahar talked about her rape, go to my podcast, AMEZE Live, and listen to it. Also visit AMZ TV on the chat and listen to it. She's very open about it, and that takes bravery. I know she knows her perp, and she said she's forgiving him, and that's fine. That's her journey. We all have our different journeys. No means no, people. Rape is not cool. You're just a sick man. You're a weak man when you prey on people who can't fight back. Why would you want to violate someone who can't probably stand you? Well, of course, you're sick. Yeah, that has been established. You're definitely sick. Again, this is AMEZE, and you're either listening to me on AMEZE Live on my podcast, or you're watching me on YouTube on AMZ TV, the chat. And I'm also going to have it up on my Facebook, so you get to see me. Yes, it happened to me a very long time ago. I was in my final year in the University of Benin, and I had one stupid, idiotic prof, getting closer to calling his name. For those who know me and know where I was at that time, they know who I'm talking about. Yes, I hadn't talked to you about him before. I didn't. It wasn't, I put it behind me. It's not something that's one way of coping. You're not talking about it. So if you're not talking about it, it did not exist. It doesn't define you. It did not define me. I went on to do great things, and I am grateful to God for that. I didn't lose my life. There are people who lose their life. There are people who cannot go beyond that experience. It changes your life, actually, in one way or the other. It has changed my life. It actually changed the course and direction of where I was going to go in my career. It did. For that very close best friend of mine, she knew. She tried to get me to follow her path, her career path, but I could not because of this idiot. Because then I just wanted to get away from school. I just wanted to get away from that place. You men, you're stupid. when you do things like that, you're really stupid. Again, that's for want of a better word, because what is stupid? Yeah. So that's why I joined the video. I'm sure it's going to get viral. And yeah, no means no, people. Why don't you come? It was like, why don't I double dare? Like anyone will try to come to, I'm a full grown woman now who's going to try to, now do not get me wrong, full grown women get raped. I need you to understand that. But I'm just talking to those who prey on very young girls, and there are those there now, position of power. This woman needs this job. She's got kids to feed. She's probably separated. People, and that's happened to me, where, a relationship breaks, a marriage breaks up, and it's like, some people still paying because that's their time. They want to be the knight in shining armor, but then now they're looking for something else. Ay. This is sad. We can go on and on, but I just needed to come out and speak my truth. I want to encourage that young girl, that woman, whoever you are, please reach out to me, amezesuperstar@gmail.com, and let me know. People will think, and it's okay to think that, like, wow, if Ameze is saying this, oh my God, then it's okay for me to also speak my truth. We need to expose the perpetrators. We need to expose the perps. They're called perps, you know. And some people do not like to use the word victims, and I totally agree. They're not victims, they're survivors. They're strong women. I have talked to men who have been raped before, but I'm not talking about that here right now. That'll be something for another day. But they're very understanding because they know what it is to have your power taken from you. They know what it is to have your life redefined, and then you have to find your way back. I will tell you this, you who rape, oh, just know your punishment. Oh, I pity you. I really do. Because it won't end well for you. Please leave your comments. Remember to like my Facebook, AMEZE. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AMEZE Superstar. YouTube, AMZ TV on the chat. And of course, in my podcast is AMEZE Live. Please feel free to leave your comments. But if it's a comment that doesn't make sense or actually shows your weakness, keep it to yourself. Nobody cares. I don't. Actually, I stopped caring. Okay, so until I come your way again, please be safe. Speak your truth. Write to me directly at AMEZE Superstar. Let's expose them. Yes, the weaklings. That's all they are. Weak.